Good morning, everybody. It's Coach Richard Wharton here at onlinebikecoach.com. And in today's Xert Daily Ditty, I'm really excited because I went out and I had a major breakthrough in my fitness. Let's start with the Adaptive Training Advisor, and then we'll dig into yesterday's workout. We're going to begin by taking a look over on the left-hand side of the training page. And for today's workout, it's recommending, it's telling me that I've got 4 XSS in deficit. I'm still in my peak phase. We're going for an endurance focus with interval targets, and in this case I'm going to call it no higher than 203, and I'll explain what that now means in my opinion. And then the workout goal is asking for 78 points. It's going to be a long day on the rollers, but I think it's going to be worth it. The training pacer is right at 12 o'clock. If I don't work out, I'm going to be behind. Now you'll notice that the triangle is yellow. Well, why is it yellow? If we go over to my progression line, we take a look and you can see that again, I started out at 41 points way back in November. Here we are almost midway through to January and I'm at 50.6, and look at that. I had a silver medal breakthrough on Tuesday of last week, and on Monday I went out and I had a nice solid breakthrough and got a couple of points overall here and there. I also had 105 XSS, which if you remember, it was only asking me for about 58 or 55, something along those lines. So I did double the recommendation. If we go to the goals and we look, I've reset the freshness feedback to 0. But last night, I got about 8 hours of sleep. Great night's rest after a hard workout like that. So let's fiddle with that real quickly. If we bring this up to, let's say, 15 freshness, keep everything else the same, click Update Advice, and then pop over to the training submenu, it's once again asking me for a breakaway specialist at 78 points. I'm not going to pull off 2 workouts in a row like that. So we're going to go back into goals, slide this back down to, say 10, click Update Advice, and watch what the training pacer recommends. Back to endurance, and back to 78 points. Now, where is this 203 watts coming from? If we go over to my progression line and take a look at the freshness feet now, let's see, let's do this. Let's go to the progression line. Let's go down to the fitness signatures, and let's go take a look at the lower threshold power. That number happens to be 203 watts. And so there's a correlation there in endurance between interval targets and XSS and endurance. So when I usually do my endurance rides, I'm doing them at between 155 and 175, maybe up to 180. If I'm short for time, I'll boost it up to 190 or 200. But what happens is that my carb rate goes up a lot higher, and I end up closer to a 1-to-1 ratio of fat to carbs. So there's a little bit of trickery in there. You have to kind of manipulate it a little bit yourself and ride for your points as well as your focus staying out into infinity. Now, let's hop into the planner and let's take a quick look at these intervals. We're going to start with a review. It asked me for a 5-minute breakaway specialist. I'm going to pop in here, and over an hour with all of this high intensity, I still ended up outside of the focus duration. Focus duration ended up being 5 minutes and 35 seconds, so I was just outside of that. And here is the workout itself. Let's go to Advanced MPA, and I can see I'm coming up against my time limit here. But if we look at the previous fitness signature, which is the most important part, what we'll see is I've got 5 warm-up intervals, and then I went through 11 intervals where I was riding at or around threshold. Now I've got all of this video recorded and I will broadcast it live. I also have the VO2 data, which is fascinating. And yes, I did get into my VO2 max range as I progressed into these 5 or 6 intervals. And then once I realized how close I was, I went ahead and pushed for the breakthrough. So if we go right over here, zoom in, take a look specifically at the MPA flat line. This is what is necessary to achieve a larger, more real and true fitness breakthrough. If your MPA is descending towards your wattage, and your MPA on your Garmin fields goes from yellow to orange to red, I'm sorry, your wattage goes from yellow to orange to red, the Rubicon is getting crossed, okay? And at some point, you need to make the decision, and I really recommend this in training. I don't always recommend it in racing, but you need to make the decision. Do I cross the Rubicon, or do I continue to ride with a depressed MPA, meaning that the MPA stays above the power? Now, I chose to go ahead and do the breakthrough because I needed the points, I needed the reaffirmation. I had always suspected that my numbers were low, and I really wanted to reset the signature. So I pushed the watts above MPA. I achieved a purple watts, and MPA got down and down and down. I knew that my threshold was at about 263, and MPA ended up flatlining right at 262. And so I kept going, and I kept going, and I kept going to really crush the MPA and get that solid silver medal that I know and expect. Now watch what happens. If we go to the current signature, what we see in those same 3 or 4 intervals is this. I once again ended up barely crossing the Rubicon, and here I did not. All right, so today's lesson is all about how to cross the Rubicon and go get a fitness breakthrough when necessary or when wanted, and how to continue to follow your polarity, basically, and ride for endurance when you need to, and ride for intensity when you have to. That's about it, and have a great ride.